CNN international correspondent Phil Black is also at the scene and is joining us by the phone. Phil, what's the mood of the crowd where you are?
Well, Anna, I can move the camera here and show you. You can see the police line behind me. We are just a short distance down the road from where we believe this incident took place. If we move the camera this way now, you'll get a sense of the crowd that is here waiting to find out precisely what's going on. Some of these people, we understand, were in the immediate area. We've spoken to people tonight who say that they witnessed the vehicle hit those people. They saw the crowd of bystanders move up and actually apprehend at least one person who they say was the driver of the vehicle there. And as you know, that was some hours ago now. Since then, they have been here, they have been talking, they have been swapping stories about what they believe they saw and so forth. There is a somewhat agitated mood here because there is a feeling that their community, their mosque, was targeted directly. That's the feeling that they're talking about here tonight. Now, we haven't heard from the police precisely what the motivation for this was. They're not going into that just yet, but we know that that's how some people here definitely feel. And we know that over the years, the mosque managers have talked about receiving hate mail and threats and being targeted by anti-Islam protests and so forth. So we know that according to the mosque and the people who run it, they feel that they've come under that sort of pressure before. And of course, here in the UK at the moment, well, things are a little tense, things are a little nervous. We've seen some violent terrorist attacks, 2 in London recently, 1 in Manchester. Through all of that, London, the officials, the authorities here, particularly the London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, London's first Muslim mayor, he's been going out of his way, all the authorities here have, indeed so many people here have been going out of their way to stress that this is a unified city, that it will not be brought undone by any sort of act of violence for whatever reason. So if this does turn out to be some form of reprisal attack, and the authorities aren't saying that yet, but if it does, and the description, if it proves to be deliberate, would seem to indicate that, then that will be enormously concerning, not just to the people of this community, who will no doubt feel very specifically targeted, but of course for the people of London and the UK more broadly, because this really isn't what they wanted. They do not want to see this sort of response to individual acts of violence.
It is disturbing regardless. Phil Black, are you hearing similar accounts from the witnesses you're talking to that there could have been more than one individual involved?
Yeah, we've heard that from a couple of people, yes. So some people have told us they think there may have been possibly 2 people in the vehicle. I don't know how solid that is at this stage. We're not hearing that confirmed by the police. The police have not said they're looking for an additional person. Some witnesses say they think they may have seen a second person. They know there was one person. That's the person that they all rushed up and say that bystanders grabbed and held until the police arrived. And the police have obviously confirmed they do have one person in custody. So there is talk of more than one person in the vehicle yet, but that hasn't been confirmed by the police here yet, Anna.
And we see that there is a large police presence on scene, and they're just standing behind that line, cordoning off the area. Do you know what their purpose is? Are they just trying to protect the area for evidence collection, or what more can you tell us about what's happening behind you?
A pretty standard procedure, I think, for any sort of major incident, and we've seen it a few times in London recently, that whenever there is some sort of significant incident, they set up a perimeter at some distance. Behind that perimeter, behind those police officers, behind that van up the road, that is where officers will be speaking to some witnesses. That is where they'll be attempting to gather forensic evidence. That is where the actual investigation will be taking place as police attempt to build a picture, a precise picture of just what happened here tonight and why. We've seen people being let out past this line every so often. So I don't know if these are just people who happen to be stranded up in that area between the police lines, or if these are people that the authorities have in fact been interviewing and speaking to, but they've been letting people go through. The real police work is taking place just a short distance up the road from where we are now.
All right, Phil Black reporting live on the scene in London. You've been watching CNN's coverage of the breaking news out of London, a van striking a crowd of pedestrians, causing a number of casualties. Our live coverage continues now with Cyril Vanier and Rosemary Church. Thanks for being with us. Have a great night.
CNN. breaking news.
Hello and welcome. If you're just joining us, we're continuing our breaking news coverage of an incident in North London. Here's what we know at this time. A vehicle hit pedestrians on Seven Sisters Road. That's in the Finsbury Park area, not far from Finsbury Mosque. Authorities say there are a number of casualties. One person is under arrest, and crucially, a police spokesman says it's too early to tell if this is a terror attack.
On Twitter, the Muslim Council of Britain says it was told a number of worshippers were hit as they left the Finsbury Park Mosque. A section of the road is closed right now. Police are not releasing any other information at this point, but there are obvious concerns after vehicles were used in deadly terror attacks on Westminster and London bridges.
Let's bring in Ian Lee. He's at the scene in London. Ian, you've been talking to the people who are there, people potentially who witnessed the attack. Can you sort of reconstruct what happened?
Yeah, Cyril, let me just show you what the scene looks right now. You have the police who have cordoned off the area. It's just down this road where this incident took place outside of a mosque. A lot of people still gathering around, as you can see, trying to find out for themselves what exactly happened. And this is a mosque in this neighborhood that a lot of people, a lot of families attended. And so people here, new people who are at that mosque, who are praying the Tarih prayer, which is the prayer that is done at night during Ramadan. People wanting to know what's the status of their friends who could have been at that mosque at the time. From what we're hearing, though, Cyril, from witnesses, is that people were leaving the mosque, gathering outside, when a van careened into a crowd of people. And one witness said that he saw at least 5 people on the ground, one person unresponsive after this attack. He's saying that this van sped up into the crowd. It did not, as he said, wasn't trying to avoid this crowd, wasn't trying to brake, but it looked like it was deliberate. That's when locals, the people who are around, were able to apprehend the driver and then hand him over to police. Now, right now, the police have yet to call this, say that this is a terrorist attack or call it anything like that, but they say that, they're investigating it right now. But the one crucial thing, though, Cyril, is that they were able to apprehend the driver of this incident, and they will be able to question him. But right now, a lot of people want answers to know what exactly happened. Another witness we were able to speak with said that after the incident happened, that he believes that there could have been additional people in the van with this driver. So that's something that the police will also be looking into to see if there were any other people who were involved in this incident, Cyril.
So we are hearing from witnesses. They apparently saw 3 men exit that van in this incident in London. 3 men apparently exited that van. They ran into pedestrians in London's Finsbury Park. 2 witnesses have told CNN this Sunday, and those 2 witnesses left, but the 3rd one was the one that was apprehended. The people there at the scene handed him over to police. But at this stage, we understand from these eyewitnesses, the 2 men fled the scene. Have you heard this at all?
We did hear this from several witnesses, but when we were speaking with them, Rosemary, they were unsure if there were other people in that van. There was some uncertainty when they said that they saw additional people in that van. So that's something we're going to have to wait for the police to come out with, if there were, in fact, other people in this van. But the locals were able to apprehend him. We don't know if the driver was trying to run away or if they were able to open the door and drag the driver out. But from one of the witnesses, this definitely seemed like it was deliberate, and they were able then to apprehend him and then hand him over to the police immediately once they arrived on the scene. And again, from what witnesses have told us, there were several people, 5 to 7 people we're hearing from witnesses, who were on the ground. One person in particular was unresponsive after this incident took place. And right now, still a lot of people here wanting to know what exactly happened. The police here at the scene have been tight-lipped. We're just hearing from the officials, from the spokesman, and they're still saying that they're investigating this incident, not calling it any sort of terrorist attack, at least not yet.
All right, Ian Lee standing by there at the scene. It is just after 4 in the morning in London. We will come back to you in just a moment.
And we're still trying to piece together what exactly happened. We spoke earlier to Hilary Briffa. She was on the street, witnessed the aftermath. She told CNN's Anna Cabrera what she saw.
Did you see the person who may have been involved in this incident, who may have been driving the vehicle?
No, I've seen the vehicle, and I saw a lot of people crowding around somebody, but I couldn't see him myself. There were a lot of people, and in the interest of personal safety as well, I didn't want to get too close because obviously you never know what could happen next. But I did see the van itself, which is a white van.
So it was a
that's now
van?
stopped outside the station, yeah, a white van.
Okay, so it was a van that you saw. Do you know how many people were injured or have any idea of how many might have been injured?
I'm not sure. When I was down there, there were at least 3 people who were injured because we were being projected so that people could get, the police could get emergency services through to at least 3 people who were seriously injured. But I think there were actually more. That's just the number that I can say for sure. There were 3.
And what more can you tell me about the crowd that was outside that you were interacting with when you got out there? Where did they come from? You said that there had been some kind of a prayer event that was going on nearby and people were just exiting that?
Yeah, so Finsbury Park Mosque, which is one of the biggest mosques in Europe. There's a very thriving community there, and people were there for prayers. When I was on my way home, I could hear the call to prayer. And so there were a lot of people who I think had come out from prayers, but also just citizens like myself who live on the street, who had come down to see what was happening, to see what's happening to our neighbors. And the crowd was very mixed ages. There were women, children, a lot of young adults and adults, women crying, lots of people panicking. There was a lot of shouting in Arabic, so I can't tell you exactly what was being said, but from the people who were shouting in English, there was a lot of agitation. People wanted to get closer to what was happening, were frustrated that they were being pushed back by the cordon, but the police were very calm, not rising to any agitation, and just sort of trying to get people back far enough that they could put up a cordon. And at one point, a fight was breaking out between some of the men who didn't want to move back and were resisting the police, but that calmed down very quickly, and they did move back. And now, things in terms of the citizens that I can see from the window, people seem distressed, but everybody's cooperating with the police, and there's just a lot of people standing outside the cordon trying to see what's happening.
An eyewitness report there. She's talking with our Anna Cabrera. David Rode is CNN's global affairs analyst. He joins us now via Skype from New York. Thank you so much for talking with us. The concern at this hour is that it's 4 hours or so after this incident took place, and still there have been no answers to the many questions, and this in the aftermath of attacks on the Westminster and London bridges. Why do you think it is taking this long before authorities can explain to people there what happened?
I think the authorities are being very cautious, as they have been in past attacks, in terms of determining blame. But the danger here is that there be a sense among the Muslim community that there's a double standard, that this isn't, being called terrorism when it should be. I don't think we're there yet. I think the police need more time. They are the ones who know who this person is that's under arrest. But it's very important that if this is terrorism, it be called terrorism. An attack on anyone based on their religious faith is wrong and totally unacceptable. So it's important that be the response if that's what the facts are, if this is indeed a terrorist attack targeting Muslims.
Yeah, and David, if this is indeed what it looks like, as you say, it's also very worrying because it suggests that now there is sectarian violence going on in the UK. Again, this is a hypothetical, if it is what it looks like.
Yes, again, it's a hypothetical, but you know, this is exactly what ISIS wants. This is what Al-Qaeda tried to inspire. They want this sort of view that this is some kind of conflict, a clash of civilizations, a conflict between Islam and the West, or Islam and Christianity. And if this was, you know, carried out by, you know, people who are non-Muslims, and they think this is somehow going to intimidate, you know, Islamic radicals or slow down attacks, it's not. It's going to fuel more attacks. Whoever did this is playing into their hands. And this is why, you know, the rule of law and these basic values, that the use of violence to achieve a political goal is terrorism. You know, whoever the attacker is, it's wrong and it's unacceptable. And that's why this broad principle has to be applied here, no matter who the victim is.
And David, of course, we know at this hour, some 4 hours after this incident took place, that one man was arrested at the scene. According to some witness reports, we understand 2 other men fled the scene. We haven't had confirmation from authorities of that just yet. But just going back to the man who was taken into custody, what can be achieved now? What questions will they be asking him? And how long do you think it would take authorities to eventually realise that Britain will be waking up in a couple of hours from now and people will be wanting some answers to these questions?
You know, sadly, they're probably following the same procedures they did when there was this attack with a vehicle, you know, recently, the last 2 attacks in London, meaning they are raiding and searching this individual's apartment. They're seeing, you know, what kind of statements they're making about their motivations. And then if there were 2 accomplices, they need to find those accomplices and prevent them from potentially carrying out attacks. So that could explain why they haven't said much about this case. They could be trying to, you know, find these 2 other people, and they don't want to, you know, give any tips about how they might track them down.
Look, David, if we look at the area, Finsbury Park, it doesn't look anything like the last 3 targets, 3 attacks in 3 months in the UK. There have been symbols of the state. If you look at the Westminster attack, there have been tourist targets. If you look at the London Bridge attack, and there's been a concert in Manchester. This is totally different.
It is, and that's what's so worrying. I mean, the mosque has changed. It was seen as sort of a source of radicalism in the years after the 9/11 attacks in the United States, but it's overseen by a new group of Muslim leaders. It is not seen as a source of extremism as it was in the past. So, you know, but it is worrying. This someone who doesn't sort of understand the mosque and frankly doesn't understand Islam might carry out this attack, seeing it as a source of extremism. But you know, they would be wrong. And again, this is, and if whatever they're doing, you know, and if it was motivated, if it was an effort to attack Muslims, it should be absolutely condemned.
And David, we have to emphasize again, we do not know the situation. We do not know what some of the details are here. All we know at this hour is that a van ploughed into some pedestrians who were coming out of a mosque there in Finsbury Park. So talk to us now about what can be done, because we are seeing so many incidents now where vehicles are being used, these soft targets attacking people. What can authorities do, if anything?
I think they should wait. I think the fact that they're waiting to make a determination in this case is a good thing. There was actually an incident in Times Square here in New York several weeks ago where a vehicle careened into pedestrians. It turned out that the driver, you know, was drunk, and there was no sort of political motivation to the attack. I'm not sure that's the case in this case, given that it happened so close to this mosque. But again, I think applying an even hand, going slowly, you know, not declaring this, you know, declaring it terrorism prematurely, and then if it is terrorism, you know, condemning it and very aggressively tracking down the culprits, no matter the victim, is the best thing officials can do. And again, I want to emphasize as well, we don't know yet. I do not want to sound alarmist. I don't know who did this, so we should be cautious as well in the news media.
David Rhodes, CNN's global affairs analyst, thank you very much. And UK government officials are reacting to the news with online statements. London's Mayor Sadiq Khan tweeted, "Emergency services are on the scene and investigating a major incident at Finsbury Park. Follow Met Police UK and London Ambulance for details."
And Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn wrote, "I am totally shocked at the incident at Finsbury Park tonight." Our Phil Black joins us now. So, Phil, what more have you learned about this incident that took place about 4 hours ago now?
Well, Rosemary, as you've been talking about, we are still waiting from the authorities to give some sense of what they think happened here tonight, but also why they think it happened. Crucially, what was the motivation? That's what all the people gathered here just near this police line. I'm going to move the camera here and show it to you. This is where people have been standing for the last few hours. Some of these were people who were up in the mosque at the time, in the neighbourhood. We've been speaking to people who say they actually witnessed the car strike the people, witnessed the detention of the man that people are saying was the driver of the vehicle. These are people who feel intimately involved. These are people who feel and are worried that their community has been specifically targeted and attacked tonight. Finsbury Park Mosque has, over the years, particularly since it's come under new management that has been very focused on restoring the mosque as a healthy, functioning member of the local community. They've talked about receiving threats, hate mail, being targeted in protests by anti-Islam and far-right nationalist groups and so forth over the years. They've had these concerns. Tonight, these people here, many of these people who are members of this community, they are worried that this is perhaps what has happened here, that they have been targeted specifically. So they're a little anxious, they're a little agitated. Some people here that we've been talking to, though, are, however, just very, very sad. They've been talking about, once again in London, innocent people being harmed on its streets. And that's something that will bother everyone in London as they wake up to this news this morning. But especially if this does prove to be some form of reprisal attack against the Muslim community. As we've been stressing, we don't know that for certain because the authorities haven't confirmed that. But if it does shape out to be something like that, then that will be enormously concerning to the people of London, to the authorities here, who for some months now, despite all the recent attacks that have taken place, 2 in London, 1 in Manchester, despite that violence, people here have been stressing that this is a unified, tolerant city and indeed country, and one that would not change its behaviour or its attitude towards members or sections of that community just because of this violence. But it does show, and what we're seeing and hearing tonight, it's all further evidence of the tension and the strain that London has been placed under in recent months.
Phil, I'd also like you to address the information that's coming into us here at CNN, which is that eyewitnesses have also told CNN there were 3 people in the van, 2 of whom fled. So 1 was arrested. According to the eyewitness accounts that we got, that person was taken to the police, handed to the police. 2 others fled. I just want to know whether that squares with what you're hearing.
So what we've heard are reports similar to that, and so keep in mind I've got CNN colleagues in various locations around this area tonight talking to witnesses. The constant seems to be that they believe there was more than 1 person in the van, yes, but we've heard different accounts. Could be 2, could be 3, but consistently what we're hearing now from people who say they witnessed this unfold is that yes, there was more than 1 person in the van, but they seem to have fled. What we understand, though, is that the 1 person who's believed to be the driver, that's the person that a crowd of bystanders was able to successfully detain and hold on to until police arrived. The authorities have not confirmed this yet. They've only confirmed that they do hold 1 person in custody. They have not confirmed that they believe more than 1 person may have been involved. They have not said that they're looking for more people. But just to reiterate what we are hearing from eyewitnesses, both here and at other locations close to where this took place, they do believe that there was more than 1 person in the van at the time that it ploughed through these people. Sarah.
Yes, that's right, Phil. London's Metropolitan Police, they're refusing to say if they were in fact seeking any other suspects, but that would be understandable at this point. They're not revealing very much at all. But what are eyewitnesses telling you there at the scene, Phil?
Well, so some people who say they saw it unfold, they talk about seeing the van actually run through these people and knock them down, and then talking about the effort by both bystanders to then apprehend the person who is behind the wheel. That's what, you know, a small number of people that we've spoken to tonight, they're the ones that claim they actually saw all of these events unfold. Of course, the story has been handed along from person to person to person, so there are lots of second-hand accounts here tonight as well. It's also why we need to be very cautious in the information that we are sharing and discussing on air. We're talking about eyewitness accounts because we have multiple eyewitness accounts now. That's where we're getting this line that there may have been more than one person in the vehicle at the time. But in addition to just simply what actually took place here, people here are talking about what it means for them, what it means for their community, what it means for this city more broadly. And that's where I guess there is the emotive response. There is anger, certainly, but also just tremendous sadness that they feel their community may have been targeted directly and purposefully in this way.
All right, our Phil Black there at the scene, emphasising we are still waiting for authorities to indicate why this happened and indeed what the motivation was behind it. Let's just bring those viewers who perhaps have just joined us up to date on what we are covering here. This breaking news: a van has hit pedestrians in North London and there have been a number of casualties. Now, we don't know exactly how many or the severity of the casualties, and police say it's too early to know if this is a terrorist act. We have also heard from two witnesses who say 3 men got out of the van. One of them was arrested and the other 2 fled the scene. Police say they believe the person arrested was the driver of the van. We don't know. The police are not confirming that 2 people fled the scene at this hour.
Well, police are saying that they were called just after midnight local time. This happened near the Finsbury Park Mosque. But we have not confirmed that worshippers were directly targeted. The Muslim Council of Britain said on Twitter, quote, "We have been informed that a van has run over worshippers as they left Finsbury Park Mosque. Our prayers are with the victims."
Now, earlier we heard from a resident of Finsbury Park in North London. Cynthia Vanzella provided us with one of the earliest photos we saw of the scene, and it shows, as you see there, an ambulance and a crowd of people.
As she wrote this on Twitter: "Outside my window in Finsbury Park, loads of screaming. Police have just arrived a few minutes ago." She described to our Anna Cabrera what she saw and what she heard.
I want to bring in Cynthia Vanzella. She is one of the people who took these pictures that we're looking at our screen right now, the one in particular that seems to be close. Cynthia, talk to me about what you have witnessed.
Hi, hello, Anna. I was in bed, really, and I just heard a lot of people shouting, so I went by the window to see what was going on, and I saw loads of people gathering in this corner right in front of my window, across the road from my apartment, and they are very nervous, shouting very loud, trying desperate to make some signs to a police car that was a little bit further down, just passing the road. There was really bad traffic at the time, and then in a matter of like seconds, the police car arrived, and many other police cars arrived just after that. I didn't see exactly what happened. I just saw from this moment when everybody was already screaming and shouting and very, very nervous.
Do you know where all these people came from? Were people just hanging out in the street? Was there an event going on?
No, what happens in here is that this community in North London is a very mixed community. It has people from many different countries, different cultures, and we all live perfectly fine. I never saw anything nowhere close to this happen at all. We have a church in one road, evangelic church in another corner, and a mosque across the road as well, and everybody just lives fine. We never had any problem at all in here. But what happens is that usually some of these Muslims, when they finish their prayers in the mosque, they just gather in this little corner to talk for a bit. And I'm guessing, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing now because it's Ramadan, there was maybe more of them for a little bit, until a little bit later maybe, because you know it's so hot in London today as well. So I'm guessing that maybe they were the victims because they were desperate. I saw so many of them crying, screaming, trying to get police and ambulance around. So I'm guessing that if someone ran over people in a corner, maybe they were there.
So the people that you saw crying and trying to get police attention, they appeared to be Muslim because they were wearing Muslim garb, or how could you tell?
Yes, yeah, they're all wearing the white Muslim, I don't know the name of that vest, but yeah. There
Okay,
was,
so
different kind of people in there, but mostly them. And because I'm so used to see them every day, I just assume that maybe there's some Muslims between the victims that I saw on the floor.
we are hearing from police, based on what they've put out, the information that we have, that there are multiple casualties, or a number of casualties is actually are the words they used. From your vantage point, could you see how many people may have been injured?
I saw a lot of people injured. They were helping on a pavement, and they were trying to help them to get away of the scene. But I saw at least 2 on the floor that I couldn't recognize properly because there's a police van covering part of my view from my window. But I saw at least 2 of them on the floor. One of them, I think, maybe was really, really bad hurt because I saw a police officer doing cardiac massage, trying to resuscitate them. So I'm guessing that at least one of them was really, really bad hurt. I'm not sure about the other, but they were working, the paramedics were working on them on the floor for quite some time. And they're gone now. They just left them in an ambulance. They're probably going to hospital now.
One of the first eyewitness reports coming into CNN after that incident some 4.5 hours ago now. Our Phil Black joins us again. Phil, you've had an opportunity to talk to more eyewitnesses. What are they telling you?
Well, Rosemary, I'm joined by now a man who witnessed some of the events that we've been talking about tonight. Ratib Al-Suleiman. Hello, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
You were in the area, I understand, and when you heard something had happened, you ran towards the scene. Please describe what you saw.
Yeah, I was like sitting with my friend. It's just 2 minutes away from there. We sit in the coffee shop, and one of our friend, he have his mobile and he show us what's going on. He said, look, there's an incident in front of the mosque. There's some van crashing the people. It's a big van crashing the people in the mosque. So we just run straight away, and I seen lots of, I see police, ambulance, people lying on the floor, and a van as well.
How many people did you see who were hurt by this?
About 8 to 10 people, I think the ambulance they take. And I seen 2 people as well running away from the van.
You saw 2 people running from the area?
From the van. There was 3 people in the van. One is being arrested, and 2 people, they run away.
Did you see the man who had been held and detained by people?
Yeah, I did, yes.
And do you know what was he detained just by people who saw this unfold? It wasn't by police, is that right? By bystanders?
That's right, yes. That's right.
It must have been a terrible thing to see, yes, here in your community near a mosque where you pray?
Yeah, it's a very sadness, because yesterday we was praying for unity, because what's happening in the Greenfield Tower is a very sad things. People, they lost their life, and people like, it's a sad things what's happening. And the leader of the council, Islington Come, Richard Watt, the leader of the mosque, and we was lots of people in the mosque praying for unity, praying for the people which lost in the Greenfield Tower, praying for Joe Cox as well, the one she's killed, the MP killed. So we're looking for peace, we're looking for unity. We don't want people to divide us. This is our message to everybody.
Are you worried that your community has been deliberately targeted here tonight?
I can't say they are targeted the community. I can say like this attack is like by criminal. It's attack on people. It's like doesn't matter who you are, a Muslim or Christian. These are criminal people. They do these things to anybody. Those people, they have probably mental problem or drugs or whatever, because nobody like in the right mind to come and jump or killing people, because we see this one before, like few weeks ago or 1 month ago in London, the terror attack, and everybody like scared, worried about it. And now we see it repeated again. And we don't know yet. We can't say who's done it, why it's been done, what is the things behind it. Nobody knows yet the truth, you know.
This is true. We don't know, and we can't stress that enough. The police have not said why this has happened tonight, what the motivation was, who did this. But I've been speaking to people here tonight, Ratib, and they are sad and angry that this has happened to them outside their mosque. I imagine you could understand why that's the case.
Yes, I think this area, especially this area, it's full of, you can say, it's a Muslim majority in this area. Like lots of people here, like from Algeria, from Tunisia, from Morocco, from the Arab country, and lots of people as well, like from Somalia. It's a very strong Muslim community, this area. And what's happening today, I think, is the people must be extremely, extremely sad. And the people here very concerned, like they say, this is a terror attack. It's not actually accident or incident. And the people, they want to see the media report the truth, because now I think the trust is go away, because people, they don't trust the media, especially like people, they say, when something happening to the Muslim people, the media is not reporting. But if another things happen to different people, the media will be there straight away. So this is like can affect the relationship between the community, between the Muslim community, the other minority, the black community, the other minority community. This can affect them, you know, in everywhere.
We have to make sure that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, hopefully, because we pray like for unity, and we pray for people, because these people, they try to separate the community. They try to make a division, make, you know, hatred. And I don't think they will succeed, because we are pure. We feel like, yes, this might happen, but we're still looking for peace, looking for unity, looking for... because we are all looking for unity, looking for peace, because all religion, Islam, Christian, or other Jewish religion, all religion is like looking for peace. Nobody looking for trouble or crime.
Indeed. Ratib, thank you very much for sharing all of that with us tonight. We're very grateful.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank
Good luck to you and your
you.
community. Thank you. So you heard the concerns there, Rosemary, Cyril, what people are talking about here. We don't know what happened and why specifically yet. The authorities haven't confirmed that. But the concern and the fear is that this was deliberate, this was targeted violence, this was meant to deliberately hurt and perhaps kill people who were worshipping in the mosque or in this area tonight. And that's of